Hi, my cuties. I hope that you are enjoying spring break and slowly but surely getting those assignments done. Remember, we have for spring break the morning work packet, finishing the morning work packet, those 6 pages of Math Ready book or the blue book. They're the same exact thing. And finally, reading for 30 minutes a day. So I would love pictures of you guys reading. And as promised, I am going to read a couple chapters of Tales of Desperaux today and hopefully send out a couple more videos over spring break reading. So as you know, we left off on book 3. Our stories between Desperaux, Roscoe are starting to get intertwined, and now we're meeting Miggy So. I believe that's her name, yeah? Miggery So. And she seems to be connected as well. So sit back, get comfy, and I'm going to read 2 chapters to you, okay? Chapter 25, A Vicious Circle. Miggery So called the man who purchased her uncle as he said she must. And also, as he said she must, Mig tended to Uncle's sheep and cooked Uncle's food and scrubbed Uncle's kettle. She did all of this without a word of thanks or praise from the man himself. Another unfortunate fact of life with Uncle was that he very much liked giving. Mig, what he referred to as a clout to the ear. In fairness to Uncle, it must be reported that he did always inquire, remember inquire means to question, whether or not Mig was interested in receiving the clout. Their daily exchanges went something like this. Uncle, I thought I told you to clean the kettle. Mig, I cleaned it, Uncle. I cleaned it good. Uncle, ugh, it's filthy. You'll have to be punished, won't ya? Mig, Gore, Uncle, I cleaned the kettle. Uncle, are you saying I'm a liar, girl? Mig, no, Uncle. Uncle, do you want good clout to the ear then? Mig, no thank you, Uncle, I don't. Alas, Uncle seemed to be as entirely unconcerned with what Mig wanted as her mother and father had been. They discussed clout to the ear was always delivered. Delivered, I'm afraid, with a great deal of enthusiasm on the uncle's part, and received with absolutely no enthusiasm at all on the part of Mig. These clouts were alarmingly frequent, and Uncle was suspiciously fair in paying attention to both the right and left side of Miggery So. So it was after that time the young Mig's ears came to resemble not so much ears as pieces of cauliflower stuck to either side of her head. So I'm going to be honest, I don't really know what it means to do clout to the ear, but I'm assuming based on the context of what I'm reading, and if it's making her ears look like pieces of cauliflower, I'm assuming that he's like doing something painful to her ear that's making it look different. So it was after a time that young Mig's ears came to resemble not so much ears as pieces of cauliflower stuck to either side of her head. And they became about as useful as her pieces of cauliflower. This is to say that they all but ceased their functioning as ears. Words for Mig lost their sharp edges, and then they lost their edges altogether and became blurry, blankety things that she had a great deal of trouble making any sense of at all. The less Mig was able to hear, the less she understood. The less she understood, the more things she did wrong. And the more things she did wrong, the more clouts to the ear she received. And the less she heard. Oh my gosh, that's so sad. This is what is known as a vicious circle. And Miggery So was right in the center of it. Which is not, reader, where anybody would want to be. But then, as you know, what Miggery So wanted had never been much concern to anyone. Chapter 26, Royalty. When Mig turned 7 years old, there was no cake, no celebration, no singing, no present, no acknowledgement of her birthday at all, other than Mig saying, Uncle, today I am 7 years old. And Uncle saying in return, did I ask you how old you were today? Get out of my face before I give you a good clout to the ear. A few hours after receiving her birthday clout to the ear, Mig was out in the field with Uncle's sheep when she saw something glittering and glowing on the horizon. She thought for a moment that it was the sun. But she turned and saw that the sun was in the west, where it should be, sinking to join the earth. This thing that shone so brightly was something else. Mig stood in the field and shaded her eyes with her left hand and watched the brilliant light draw closer and closer until it revealed itself to be King Philip and his Queen Rosemary and their daughter, the young Princess P. The royal family was surrounded by knights in shining armor and horses in shining armor, and atop each member of the royal family's head there was a golden crown. And they were all, the king and the queen and the princess, dressed in robes decorated with jewels, sequins that glittered and glowed and captured the light of the setting sun and reflected it back. "Gore," breathed Mig. The Princess P was riding on a white horse that picked up its legs high and set them down very daintily. The P saw Mig standing and staring, and she raised her hand to her. "Hello," Princess P called out merrily. "Hello." She waved her hand again. Mig did not wave back. Instead, she stood and watched. Open-mouthed as the perfect, beautiful family passed her by. "Papa," called the princess to the king. What is wrong with the girl? She will not wave to me." "Never mind," said the king. "It is of no consequence, my dear." "But I am a princess, and I waved to her. She should wave back." Mig, for her part, continued to stare. Looking at the royal family had awakened some deep, slumbering need in her. It was as if a small candle had been lit in her interior, sparked to life by brilliance of the king and queen and the princess. For the first time in her life, Mig was hopeful. And hope is like love, a ridiculous, wonderful, powerful thing. Mig tried to name this strange emotion. She put a hand up to touch one of her aching ears, and she realized that the feeling she was experiencing, the hope blooming inside her, felt exactly like the opposite of what her uncle would do to her ears. She smiled and took her hand away from her ear. She waved to the princess. "Today is my birthday," Mig called out, but the king and the queen and the princess were now too far away to hear her. "Today," shouted Mig. "I'm 7 years old." All right. I will read to you chapter 27 tomorrow, which is called A Wish. I miss you all so much. I hope that you're practicing your math facts, that you're reading, but also that you're enjoying time with your family and relaxing and moving your body and just finding reasons to smile. I know these times are odd, but they also can be really beautiful because who knew that you'd have so much time to spend with the people around you. So I miss you. Let me know if you need anything, and I will continue doing Tales of Desperaux read-alouds. Have a great night.